Welcome back to the heart of Turkish entertainment. Welcome back to the Turkish Spotlight Secrets family. Today, the wind over the Bosphorus feels different, like a farewell folded neatly inside a promise of forever. In a world where screens glimmer and whispers travel faster than cars on the bridge, there are moments that stop the noise and make everyone listen. This is one of those moments. We're stepping into the inner world of Barış Arduç, a man known for guarding his private life with the calm intensity he brings to his roles, and we're witnessing the quiet, breathtaking certainty with which he's chosen his future, hand in hand with Elçin Sangu. Somewhere beneath the beams of this new home being built, there's a part of his past tucked away for good. And yes, it took a sentence as sharp as a lighthouse beam cutting through fog to make it clear. A clean break. A new chapter. A love that wants no shadows. Before we unlock the details of this whispered engagement, the summer wedding plan, and the sentence that everyone keeps quoting, a little reminder: if you crave depth, heart, and the kind of storytelling that treats celebrities like living, breathing humans, subscribe to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Hit that bell so the stories you care about always find you first. And, if you want to go behind the velvet rope with exclusive content we craft just for our insiders, tap the join button now. Your support fuels the work we do here, and we don't take that lightly. Now, breathe in and listen closely, because what Barış said isn't the kind of thing you walk back. The rooms where rumors usually ricochet fell quiet when this reached our ears. The actor who prefers silence over spectacle decided to speak, and what he said was the kind of sentence that closes doors gently but firmly. Whispers that he and the incandescent Elçin Sangu were preparing for marriage were just that, whispers, until that declaration crystallized everything into truth. What had been a rumor grew roots. What had been a guess became a plan. There's movement toward the altar, not in a rush, but in steady steps, deliberate and bright. Somewhere between tastings and flower samples, between scripts and rehearsals, a confession surfaced among people who know him best. It wasn't a howl, it was a soft verdict finally delivered. I've let the past go completely. Not a press quote, not a PR twist, just a man recognizing the full stop at the end of a sentence that had been dragging on. For years, a story that once mattered followed him like a shadow at noon. The chemistry that once lit up screens, the questions from fans who kept wondering what could have been, the speculative glances from the press every time old memories resurfaced, those were the echoes. But he folded that story, placed it in a drawer, and turned a key only he needed. When he says he's renounced what's behind him, he isn't being cruel, he's being clean. He's saying the rooms of his heart are not museums. They are lived in, warm, open, and entirely reserved for the woman who fills them now. His present and his future have a single name, Elçin Sangu. While the phrase continues to ripple through the industry, the engagement flowers quietly. Sources with impeccable credibility tell Turkish Spotlight Secrets that the pair held a private ceremony, intimate and unabashedly emotional, where families cried and laughed and blessed the path ahead. After that, the decision became official in their hearts. Summer. The season where light is kinder, and nights are long, has been chosen to frame their vows. But don't expect a circus. They are setting the tone themselves, elegant without shouting, sincere without spectacle. What they're building is the kind of celebration that mirrors who they are when the cameras click off, thoughtful, grounded, pure. We're told the concept embraces nature and honesty over glitter for glitter's sake. Picture a hidden clearing, somewhere beyond the reach of city horns, where the air smells like pine and sea, and the sounds are laughter, glasses clinking, and a promise spoken in front of the people who matter most. There are visits to secluded venues outside Istanbul. There are mood boards made of light, the kind of light that glows on skin and promises good mornings. And there is a dress. Our insiders whisper that Elçin is meeting with designers to create something ethereal, the sort of gown that doesn't overstate her beauty because it doesn't need to. A dress that glides, that breathes, that suggests rather than screams, a design that would rather hum than perform. Pause with us, Turkish Spotlight Secrets family. When someone says out loud that they've closed a door, is that act necessary to open another? Do words, spoken clearly, free the soul more than silence ever could? Or do certain loves, even when they're over, exist like a faint perfume you can't quite name? Drop your reflections below. And if you value the way we dive into the psychology driving these headlines, hit like, it makes a difference. If you want to support the reporting, the long hours, the careful sourcing, the join button is just below. Let's keep going. On the other side of this story lives the woman from his past, a figure who now seems content to let her work speak for her. When the engagement news bubbled up, her name returned to headlines on its own, called there by habit more than need. She didn't answer the call. She is working, building, focusing, setting boundaries like a professional who has learned how to direct the narrative toward what actually matters. We've heard murmurs of a simple line she uses on sets when conversation drifts where she doesn't want it: "I don't discuss my private life." Not ice cold, just final. A queen's move, really. Do not invite me to a table where I have no appetite. As for her social media, it radiates self-possession, beauty, and a calm that feels like the right kind of distance. To fans, it reads as a declaration: I have my own horizon now, and my happiness isn't a museum piece from years ago. Back with our couple, something in Barış has shifted. Friends who've stood beside him for years say they haven't seen him this anchored in a long time. This isn't a firestorm of passion that burns everything in its path, it's a harbor after too many voyages. He's been heard saying the time he spends with her feels like the kind of peace he didn't even know to hope for. And that peace isn't an escape hatch from a memory, it's a reason to arrive fully to the present. If you've looked closely, the breadcrumbs are there. She has been posting notes about beginnings, about alignment, about letting life unfold without forcing it. There are photos, not staged but filtered through respect, a dinner in soft light, a weekend by the sea where the shore gives them back to themselves, a glance exchanged that needs no caption. Then there's the practical proof that dreams are becoming furniture. The search for a home. We're told they're looking quietly, choosing spaces that feel like pages not yet written. A clean address with no ghosts. A place where every corner is a yes. A kitchen with sunlight in the morning, a living room where friends fit easily, a bedroom that keeps secrets kindly. This isn't just a real estate hunt, it's a symbol. A physical move to match the emotional one, a map of their intentions laid over the city they love. So, Turkish Spotlight Secrets family, if you were deciding with them, what would you pick? A forest ceremony where leaves applaud their vows, or a shoreline wedding where the Aegean turns their reflections into something infinite? Tell us your vision in the comments. And remember, by tapping join, you don't just support the channel, you become part of the inner circle that keeps this work alive. We are, whether we realize it or not, witnessing the end of a long-running arc that kept fans guessing. The sentiment at the center of all this can be paraphrased as simply as a heartbeat: there's no return, that chapter is closed. Both families, once just names at opposite tables, have met and woven something warm. The blessings have been given not as formality but as gifts. Sources say the harmony between the families is almost uncanny, the kind of chemistry you can't fake even if you tried. Everyone, from cousins to old friends, is pulling strings to craft a day that belongs only to the couple. Soft music selections, handwritten notes, careful seating charts that avoid old frictions, this is a village effort. Elçin, with her composed grace and that unmistakable spark, has managed the rare feat of inviting the public to see this love without treating it like a spectacle. She's made people root for the present. You can see it on timelines and in comment sections, a collective exhale, a collective yes. Her impact on him shows in small ways you can't script: lighter shoulders, easier laughter, the quiet conviction that forever isn't a fantasy but a choice they keep making every morning. That's the energy guiding their preparations. Stealthy, deliberate, joyfully secretive. The calendar date remains tucked away where only a select few can read it, but the season is a promise: when summer arrives, so will their vows. And when he says I do, it won't only be a promise to the woman standing across from him. It will also be a thank you and a goodbye to the versions of himself shaped by yesterday. Life is a book, and the bravest thing we can do is stop rereading chapters we know by heart. On the page they're writing now, the ink is warm and golden. The light of this love has done what it always does in great stories. It's dimmed the past to a gentle outline and sharpened the present until it gleams. From all of us at Turkish Spotlight Secrets, our wish is simple: may their path to the altar be kind, may their day be wrapped in grace, and may the life that follows feel like home. We're on watch. The moment the date is official, the moment the first photo is shared, you'll see it here before anyone else. But the real headline is already clear. It isn't about gowns or guest lists, it's about a decision made with every fiber of their beings. A decision for peace. For partnership. For the kind of love that doesn't need noise to echo. What do you make of this arc of courage and tenderness? Of choosing to speak the words that end a story so another can start properly? Tell us in the comments. Your voice shapes the conversations we build. Subscribe if you haven't yet, turn on notifications so you're never late to the next chapter, and show this video some love with your likes. If you want us to keep doing this work with the care and quality you expect, the join button is there for you. Thank you for watching, for feeling, for trusting Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Until the next exclusive, we'll be right here, listening for the moment the vows meet the summer air and a new life, already begun, is blessed in the open. There's one more thread to tug before we close. People close to the couple say the guest list reads like a love letter to real life. Not a parade of rivalries, not an excuse for spectacle, but a collection of faces who have earned the right to witness. Old colleagues who became family, cousins whose childhood stories still make them laugh until their ribs hurt, musicians who agreed to keep it simple and sincere. The menu leans toward flavors that taste like memory, olives and herbs, warm bread, fruit that bursts with summer. Decorations whisper rather than dazzle. Candles low, flowers that feel picked not manufactured, colors that remember how to breathe. And tucked into the program, something personal. A few lines chosen from poems they both love, lines that explain nothing and illuminate everything. We'll leave you with this image, because sometimes a picture is more precise than any sentence. A twilight sky, the hush before music begins, a pair of hands that have already learned each other in quiet kitchens and tired evenings and early alarms, saying yes in front of the people who will hold them to it when days are less kind. That's the story worth telling. Not the headlines that come and go, not the gossip that tries to drag the past back into the present, but the decision to be brave in the simplest way there is, to love and be loved completely. And for anyone still wondering whether words matter, whether saying goodbye out loud does anything at all, watch what happens when summer arrives. Watch what happens when they look at one another and everything else softens like a candle in warm air. That is the answer. That is the news. That is the promise we'll bring you, right here, when the moment becomes memory, and memory becomes home.